Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the 2020 School Design Awards. My name's Justin Shortall and I'll be your MC this evening. Well, this might be an online ceremony, but I'm joining you from some very impressive physical surroundings, the Alumbara Theatre at Bendigo Senior Secondary College. This is a 2016 design by Y2 Architecture and a truly unique space. They've transformed a 19th century jail on the college grounds into a 1,000-seat performing arts centre that the school shares with the wider community. It's a great example of what's being achieved with the new wave of Victorian school architecture that you're all involved in. The school has gained bespoke teaching spaces for drama, dance and music. Art students participate in workshops with professional artists. Hospitality students gain experience in commercial kitchens. And Bendigo becomes home to one of the state's premier regional theatres, as well as preserving an important part of its history. It's an appropriate symbolic venue for our celebrations today. Being in Bendigo, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Djadjawarrung people, the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and to any other elders and Koori people joining us today. Also joining us this afternoon is our host, the Honourable James Merlino MP, Deputy Premier and Minister for Education. Chris Keating, CEO of the Victorian School Building Authority, and our judges, Jill Garner, Victorian Government Architect, Claire Newton from the University of Melbourne, and Tom Kirkland, VSBA Executive Director. We have awards in 5 categories this evening, but before we get to the presentations, I'd like to invite our host, James Merlino, to say a few words.
It's great to join you this evening for the 2020 Victorian School Design Awards, even if it happens to be virtually. Before I talk about the awards further, let me start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of whatever land you are logging in from today. For me, it's the people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and those emerging from the amazing schools that you've designed. I extend that respect to other elders and Koori people who may be with us this evening. Well, what a year we've had. At these awards, I always like to acknowledge the innovative ways you've overcome the usual building challenges, the way you create inspiring and practical learning environments while juggling the aspirations of principals, the raised eyebrows of builders, and the unexpected discovery of asbestos that puts a hole in your project budget. Well, you had a few extra challenges in 2020. You were doing all of the usual juggling, plus dealing with COVID site restrictions, working from home, and competing for internet with your remote learning offspring. Many of you may have felt less secure about your business with the economic impact and uncertain future. But now we're taking our first steps on the road to recovery. I'm sure you will have noted that our recent state budget invests a record $3 billion in school building and upgrades. This is about getting your industry back on track, creating the work and the jobs you need now and the schools we need for the future. Some of that investment was released early as an economic stimulus package back in May. Many of you have already gained new work through that, keeping our companies rolling and your workers employed through the recent difficult months. We've now added a further $1.9 billion to keep that momentum going. COVID-19 has changed a lot of things, but not the key drivers of our work. We still need new and expanded schools for our growing population. We still need more modern schools to prepare students for the different kinds of challenges they face in the 21st century. And we still need your innovation, your design skills to create the learning environments that will inspire our young minds to take on those challenges. We want spaces that kids want to be in, practical spaces that support and inspire learning. That's why it remains as important as ever that we continue to celebrate and recognise your contribution to that. And I'm delighted to say that's exactly what the judges found in this evening's finalists. They said the kind of inspiring design we're looking for was as strong in many smaller projects as it was in the larger milestone schools that often grab the bulk of the attention. And you've shown you can be equally inspiring on smaller upgrades by designing them with the kids in mind or making creative use of the outside environment. Above all, the winners tonight are practical and smart designs, and as always make a remarkable difference to the thousands of students and staff that benefit from your creativity. So, before we announce the winners, I want to thank our judges for their many hours of deliberations. As usual, I don't envy their role. Huge thanks to Jill Garner, Victorian Government Architect, Claire Newton, Associate Professor in Learning Environments at Melbourne University's Faculty of Architecture, and Tom Kirkland, the VSBA's Executive Director of Delivery. And thank you, on behalf of Victoria's students, for your creative work. I look forward to it continuing. So now, let's go back to Justin to learn more about the judges' decisions. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Minister Molino. Before we begin the rest of the awards presentation, I'll just run through the format for this year's ceremony. I'll read out a short synopsis of each of our finalist schools while we show you images from their project. Minister Molino will then announce the winner for each category. Now, usually you'd be invited on stage to collect your award. This year, the framed certificates will be sent out to you early in the new year. Congratulations to all the finalists in the 2020 School Design Awards. And while there can only be one winner in each category, all of the schools that have made it this far are in fact outstanding. Let's meet our first group of finalists. Our first award for the night is the Best School Project below $5 million. And our first finalist is Workshop Architecture for the Mount Macedon Primary School Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, Mathematics and Music STEAM Centre, completed in 2019 for $472,000. With a limited budget, Workshop Architecture took a unique and highly cost-effective approach to design the STEAM Centre around the school's relocatable classroom. The school had refurbished this building over time, investing in it, so it became a valued art and music room. A teaching area and an outdoor marker deck were added to the classroom to create a variety of spaces needed for STEM learning. The deck has become a highly active space, sheltered by an impressive cantilevered roof. The judges were equally impressed with the use of natural materials that connected the building to the landscape. And they described the floor plan as absolutely delightful in how it responded to the needs of primary school students. The project clearly demonstrates what can be achieved with smaller budgets using innovation and robust interpretation of existing conditions. Our next contender is Sibling Architecture for their modernisation of Surfside Primary School, completed this year for $1.33 million. This was a major refurbishment for the school nestled in the seaside community of Ocean Grove. Sibling transformed 10 outdated general-purpose classrooms into a more modern, collaborative learning environment. To improve access and how the children find their way throughout the school, the architects used a garden or neighbourhood concept. They replaced the traditional classrooms with a common street or path, which links a series of unique nodes. Each node has its own identity with unique colours inspired by natural landscapes. The judges loved this confident and playful use of colour and thought it would be a delightful space to occupy. Sibling also improved flexibility by using movable acoustic partitions that allow adjacent classrooms to open up and become a large single space with several zones. The last finalist for this award is Hayball for their modernisation of Camberwell High School's Year 11 Centre. They completed this last year as part of a wider refurbishment with a $3.55 million budget. It involves sensitive upgrades of the top floor of a 1960s building with strong architectural design merit. The problem for the school was the building's long, narrow plan that was unsuitable for contemporary teaching methods. The judges agreed that this was a really judicious reinvention and praised the architect's choice of what was kept and what was completely reinvented. The design absolutely transformed this floor into quiet and purposeful spaces. New skylights take advantage of the space's location on the top floor, and teachers are delighted with the greater natural light and ventilation. The principal said it had broken down the previous cellular interior spaces and created a mature place of learning. It improved how teachers and senior students interact, which supported positive learning outcomes. Minister, please tell us which of the three finalists is the winner.
And the winner of the Best School Project below $5 million goes to Sibling Architecture for Surfside Primary School. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Sibling Architecture and to Workshop Architecture and to Hayball for their outstanding designs. We now move to the Best School Project between $5 and $10 million. Our first finalist is B2 Architecture for the three-storey modular learning centre they designed for South Yarra Primary School. It was completed this year for $6 million. This is a very popular primary school, and the development gave them 12 classrooms with breakout and withdrawal spaces. The result is a flexible and functional learning environment geared for modern education. Walls can be reconfigured for various teaching approaches, and the design has included an external deck for the school's environmental, food and horticultural programs. The judges praised the new building's design, but debated how successfully it integrated with the surrounding architecture of the older school buildings. They acknowledged the extra constraints of modular design in this area. B2 Architecture had made the most of one of the key strengths of this type of building, being able to quickly meet the immediate needs of a fast-growing school on a constrained site. The design was praised by the builders for being easy to deliver, and the judges concluded it was a good example of the role modular solutions can play in school upgrades. Well, Y2 Architecture are responsible for this beautiful theatre that I'm sitting in today, and they're next in the running for this award for their STEAM Centre at Melba Secondary College, completed this year for $7.8 million. This is the fourth building Y2 have designed for Melba College as part of the master plan to bring the school's junior and senior campuses together on one site. The work that Y2 did for the first stage of this development was a winner at our 2018 Design Awards. The judges appreciated the design approach Y2 used for the STEAM Centre, basing it around a concept that, common to all the STEAM disciplines, was an activity of making things. The result is a building that takes every opportunity to display that. Glass and layout have been used extensively to put everything on display: equipment, student activity and finished work. Learning is visible and interlinked across the disciplines, creating a dynamic environment that showcases science and art together. The final candidate for this award is Clark Hopkins Clark for their transformation of Sandringham East Primary School last year for $7.84 million. This project involved demolishing two outdated buildings with cellular classrooms, which Clark Hopkins Clark replaced with a double-storey learning building and multi-purpose hall. The hall is a place for whole school gatherings as well as sport, and the wider community uses it outside of school hours. The judges commended the siting of the building on the boundary and how it protects the internal space on the campus and adds to the village atmosphere that the school was keen to preserve. The judges also highlighted the cheerful interiors and the architect's use of natural materials. Minister, over to you again to tell us which of these impressive finalists is the winner.
And the winner of the Best School Project between $5 million and $10 million goes to B2 Architecture for South Yarra Primary School. Congratulations.
And congratulations to Y2 Architecture and Clark Hopkins Clark for their outstanding work. Our next award category this evening is Best School Project over $10 million. Let's meet our finalists. Our first contender is McGlashan Everest for their upgrade and modernisation of Geelong High School, completed over the last 3 years for $22.7 million. This is a small firm that completed an extraordinarily complex project. The judges appreciated the difficulty in bringing one of Victoria's oldest high schools into the 21st century and acknowledged completing the building was often fraught. However, despite the problems delivering the design, the judges were impressed with how it created modern learning environments while celebrating the heritage buildings. They said the architect's intelligent analysis of what to keep and what to demolish left a good balance of the old and the new. With light and airy interiors, the judges commended the project as a remarkable reinvention of the school. They said it rated amongst the best remodelling of the state's early 20th century school buildings. McGlash and Everest clearly responded to what the school wanted by creating contemporary, flexible learning spaces that have transformed an important icon in the Geelong community. Our second finalist for this award is Law Architects for the Carlton Primary School Learning Precinct, completed in February 2019 for $12.8 million. The brief was a challenging one: turn an unappealing site and an underutilised school into an educational and social model for inner city learning. This included a partnership between the Victorian Government and the City of Melbourne to build an early learning and family services centre within the school. As well as refurbishing the school's learning spaces, Law Architects were creating a community hub for education and care, maternal and child health, parenting services and playgroups. Their design enhanced this by activating the school's street level to engage the local community. The judges loved the bold approach, particularly the decision to build an open-framed covered outdoor learning and sports area at the front of the school, rather than a traditional gymnasium. With plants creating a green facade, the covered area welcomes the neighbourhood into the school, and the design has become part of Carlton's urban landscape. Our last finalist for this award is Billard Leach Partnership for Elevation Secondary College, a $30 million new school which opened this year. It's part of a bundle of new schools designed by the firm, but it's particularly special as Elevation Secondary College is one of the state's first supported inclusion schools. It's designed for mainstream students, as well as having specialist infrastructure to support a large group of students with disabilities or diverse learning needs. All students are able to attend the same classes in mainstream settings to the greatest extent possible. The judges were impressed with the variety of learning spaces with different tactile elements and acoustic performance, ranging from small retreat pods to large teaching spaces connected to outdoor learning zones. They also liked the bold colours inspired by local bird life that the design uses to make it easier for all students to identify buildings and find their way around. Minister, please tell us which of the three finalists is the winner.
The winner of the Best School Project above $10 million goes to Law Architects for the Carlton Primary School Learning Precinct. Congratulations.
And well done also to McGlash and Everest and Billard Leach Partnership for their outstanding contributions. We now move to our next category, the award for Best Primary School Project. We have two finalists. The first is Architectus with K2LD and Design Inc. for Lucas Primary School, completed for $17.7 million last January in time for the new school year. The three firms collaborated on 8 new schools which opened this year. Lucas Primary School plays a particularly important role in its community because it was built on a greenfield site in a new suburb of Ballarat. It was a vital part of establishing that community, sharing school facilities after hours and on weekends that bring people together. This includes the library, which is used for community playgroups and meetings, the gym and school oval, and a specialist pavilion equipped for arts activities. The judges liked the way the architects had thought through the safety and other practical features to enable this community sharing, and they thought the design responded well to the brief, creating a cheerful and playful village environment. They particularly noted how the project team developed a lessons learnt document to provide feedback that will help the design of similar projects in the future. Our other finalist in this category is AOA Christopher Peck for Lindenau Primary School's new library and administration building, completed this year for $804,000. Now, the judges thought this project was a notable example of working with a small budget to provide a big impact and value for money. The building's design reoriented the school entry from a busy road to a more pedestrian and student-friendly street. Apart from providing a more welcoming entrance, it made a positive statement about the school's presence in this small Gippsland town community. The school had lacked a large enough space for assemblies and performances. This building cleverly provides bifold doors opening the library space to a covered central courtyard that can also be used for outdoor learning at any time of the year. The judges were impressed with the cantilevered roof providing this all-weather protection, as well as the building's spacious and light interior. Two very different and very worthy finalists there. Minister, please tell us, who is the winner?
The winner of Best Primary School goes to Architectus with K2LD and Design Inc. for Lucas Primary School. Congratulations.
Great work, and thanks also to AOA Christopher Peck for your outstanding work at Lindenau. Our final category this evening is the award for Best Secondary School Project. And the first candidate is Brand Architects for the second stage of Springside West Secondary College and its integrated satellite specialist school, completed last year for $23.2 million. This was the finishing stage of a new school which opened in Melbourne's fast-growing outer northwest in 2018. Brand Architects were a finalist at these awards that year for the first stage of the project. Being in a new suburb, the school has been designed as a hub for sharing and developing community facilities. The judges described this as a fine example of how good design and different levels of the government can work together to get this right. Together, the VSBA and the City of Melton have developed adjacent parcels of land that create 20 hectares of community infrastructure. Brand Architects' master plan put the school at the centre of that, as it looked to maximise opportunities to share co-located facilities. That will develop further over time, but we can already see its benefits with the school sharing its sports ground as a training facility for A-League club Western United. In return, the club runs training programs for the students. Likewise, the thoughtful design allows specialist school students to interact with their mainstream peers while getting the tailored programs and facilities they need. The judges also applauded Brand Architects' excellent documentation that allowed them to deliver the project a month early despite local environmental issues. Our next finalist is Baldasso Cordesi for their modernisation and refurbishment of Brunswick Secondary College. This was completed in December 2018 for $10 million. This project completes a major modernisation of Brunswick Secondary College. It involved building a food technology building, converting an old gym into a performing arts theatre, creating cross-discipline spaces for STEAM studies, and bringing insular and compartmentalised classrooms into the 21st century. Baldasso Cortesi's design also included repurposing a former rope factory building on site into a covered outdoor learning area. Apart from its use as an educational space, this area is building new links with the local community, as it's used for festivals, markets and other events. The judges were impressed with what Baldasso Cordesi were able to achieve on a very constrained site, while keeping the historical visage of the school. They described the interior layouts and floor plan as beautifully designed, particularly noting the logic with the way pedestrian circulation now works. The last finalist for this award is Clark Hopkins Clark Architects for Wonthaggi Secondary College's senior campus, completed last January for $32 million. This is a new senior campus for up to 675 local students in years 10 to 12. It's specifically designed for adolescent and adult learning, creating a young university feel and building strong connections with the local community. The three-court gymnasium is designed to competition grades so it can be shared with the local basketball association after hours and on weekends. The design also allows for future development of more shared recreational, vocational and adult education facilities. It's a huge site that includes a wetland established from an old farm dam. As well as helping with on-site water treatment, the wetland is positioned next to the science facilities, so it becomes a practical outdoor learning area. The judges acknowledged the difficulties the architects faced designing for an awkwardly asymmetrical site, part of which was Crown Reserve and part prone to flooding. Despite those challenges, good design allowed the project to be delivered ahead of schedule. Three very exciting projects there, all with very strong community building elements. Minister, please tell us, who is the winner?
And the winner of the best secondary school goes to Brand Architects for Springside West Secondary College. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to the Brand Architect team, and thank you also to Clark Hopkins Clark Architects and Baldasso Cortese for your outstanding work. Well, that was our final award this evening. Thank you, Minister Molino, for presenting the awards, and thank you to everyone for logging into our virtual awards ceremony. Congratulations to our winners and finalists. You should be proud of your contribution towards creating such fantastic environments for Victoria's students and teachers. Thank you also to everyone who nominated for the awards this year, and we look forward to even more submissions and getting to celebrate together again next year. Good evening.